Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm here to finish some more stories that I found on this news app called Smart App, okay, on iPhones or whatever. Now this story gonna be about where was Joseph when Jesus died, okay? So basically about Michael or Nino Brown, okay? It get freaky, like I said, you just shit. But for right now, it's about Michael. I think that's her father. Um, okay, so let's begin. Joseph was Jesus' earthly father. The question of where Jesus was when Jesus died is prevalent. Everything about Joseph's life sparks interest in the minds of many scholars, which is me. The Bible doesn't talk much about Joseph or his life, which could be one of the key reasons why people are interested in Joseph's life. Joseph was important in Jesus' life and in the New Testament. Joseph's life with a S. The Bible doesn't say much about Joseph. We are told he was a carpenter and probably raised Jesus in the same profession. However, I feel like carpenter means black African Americans, because hair or some shit like that, like a monkey or something, I don't know. But Michael did take carpenter school though. We were like mechanic school, but same thing though, okay? However, we are told a lot about Joseph's character through his actions. When Mary was pregnant with Jesus, not many people would have held on to that engagement because she was a virgin, yet she was pregnant. She was pregnant through divine intervention. Now remember, y'all, pregnancy don't always mean you carrying a baby, okay? It means you are birthing something new. I used to watch prophetic words about that. They be like, oh, you pregnant, oh, you finna birth something new, okay? It's not always mean about a baby. So Key had to birth something new. That wouldn't mean about her being a virgin and she got pregnant. She was pregnant through divine intervention because she would be Christ's mother, known within Christianity as the miraculous conception. During this time, many men would have shamed Mary, telling the entire town of her infidelity, even though she didn't do anything wrong. Pregnancy before marriage had become normalized in modern times, but it was terrible and horrific back then. There wasn't a lot in the way of grace back then. Also, Mary would have been a teenager, with scholars guessing she was around 13. Instead of exposing Mary to shame and embarrassment, Joseph wanted to quietly call off the wedding and separate from her so she wouldn't ruin her reputation. That quality shows Joseph's gentle and kind nature. We also see his nature in that when Mary tells Joseph she is pregnant divinely, he doesn't leave and decide to stay with her. How many present day men or men in the New Testament would have chosen to stay with Mary? Question mark. Yes, yet again, this shows Joseph with his kind nature and how much he loved Mary. Okay? When Mary's pregnancy was coming to an end, she and Joseph traveled due to the census. I get the corona. Mary gave birth to Jesus shortly after they arrived in Bethlehem. Okay, when I came back, okay. Joseph was there the whole time and probably had to help Mary deliver the baby. Nino Brown, okay? He assisted in every way he could and was happy that the baby was being born. Joseph was also older than Mary, with some scholars having varying views on his age. Some believe that he was 10 years older than Mary, while others argue that he was up to 50 years older. However, it's more likely that he was up to 10 years older than her instead of 50. Nevertheless, Joseph was older than Mary. During Jesus' upbringing and childhood, Joseph fulfilled his fatherly role and raised Jesus as his child. He likely taught Jesus his trade, which was carpentry. Jesus was an adult when he started his ministry. However, Joseph isn't mentioned again throughout Jesus' ministry. Okay, yeah, Kia told me, remember I told you Shanice gave her that body as JT or whatever? Yes, when they were trafficking Kia, she was getting trafficked. She was getting raped in a grown woman body. But when they time for them to put her in the machine, they took that body and they killed a virgin, a child. Okay. On the other hand, I had a lot of things wrong. Okay, my bad. I apologize to some of you individuals that was like, what the fuck? Okay, on the other hand, Mary is mentioned numerous times during Jesus' ministry and was present during Jesus' crucifixion and resurrection. However, the Bible doesn't mention Joseph. He isn't talked about any time after Jesus' ministry in adult life because he likely already passed away. Though the Bible doesn't see Michael. Michael was killed, okay? So he did not find. So we thought she was dead. We thought they transferred her soul into a doll. Because when we went up to that award show down here to the contest, we bought a doll in. But she was talking like JT. Okay, she's talking like Kia. But we didn't know she was already dead in the machine, though. Then after they killed Michael, that's when we found, I thought she got cut up, and shot in pieces in the park. That wasn't her either. That was the Black Dahlia playing a trick on us. Somebody manifested over what I was supposed to talk about, okay? So really, we didn't really find out until 2021, late in 2021. Shit, basically 2023. No, 2022 to 2023 when we found out. Anyways, though the Bible doesn't specifically tell us when Jesus died, it would be accurate to say that Jesus died before Jesus. Oh, my bad. Though the Bible doesn't specifically tell us when Joseph died, it would be accurate to say that Joseph died before Jesus' ministry started. True. The latter mention of Joseph is when Jesus stayed behind at the temple when he was 12 years old. Mary told you he was in the first apartment too. Brown. Mary and Joseph began to look for him. When they found him after 3 days, Mary scolded him, asking why he treated them like this and telling him how they were looking for him. Okay, see, me and Michael. This is about me and Michael right here. Okay, next. Where did Joseph go? ? Knowing where Joseph was when Jesus died is simply to us. We established that Joseph likely passed away before Jesus started his earthly ministry. If that's the case, then it's likely that Joseph was already dead at the time of Jesus' death. See, I don't know, y'all. To be honest, I really don't know. I feel like, no. As much as he loved and supported Jesus, Joseph would have been there at the crucifixion if he had been alive, just like Mary was present. However, Joseph wasn't there because he had already died. Okay, remember we was frozen for 6 months. Okay, Joseph showed great faith and trust in God during his life. He believed in God and listened to the angel when he told him to move Jesus and Mary to another town. Joseph didn't disregard this warning, but took it to heart and did everything in his power to protect Jesus and Mary. As sad as it is, Joseph wouldn't be present for Jesus' death, but he's with his son in heaven. What Joseph's life teaches us? Joseph's life teaches us a lot. He shows incredible trust in God and his way, even when it doesn't make sense to Joseph. Everyone loosely talks about Mary's faith, but Joseph is generally overlooked. Joseph also displayed great trust and faith because, like Mary, his reputation could have been ruined. Despite what could have happened, Joseph trusted God no matter what. Also, Joseph's life teaches us what it means to be compassionate, caring, and kind to others. Joseph's interaction with Mary are never mean or harsh. Joseph is always kind and gentle. Similarly, we never hear that Joseph treats Jesus unkindly. He fulfills the role of an earthly father figure to Jesus. Jesus may not have known his true father, but he respected Joseph as his earthly father. While we are told that many of Jesus' brothers didn't believe who he said he was, we never told Joseph believe this idea. It's true that Joseph likely passed away by this point, but Joseph would have believed Jesus was the Messiah. With everything Joseph had experienced and seen, it would be doubtful for Joseph not to believe Jesus was the long-awaited Messiah. Therefore, Joseph was likely already dead by the time Jesus died. He wasn't mentioned in the Gospels, but after Jesus started his earthly ministry, so he probably died before Jesus' ministry started. It's also important to note that if Joseph was alive during Jesus' crucifixion, he would have been there like Mary was. Jesus wasn't Joseph's real son, but Joseph loved him and raised him as his child. Sadly, the Bible doesn't give much information on how Joseph died, but provides some context surrounding when he passed away. What mattered most is how Jesus stepped up and cared for Jesus and Mary. Okay, that's for Nino Brown right there. Okay, hope y'all enjoyed this story. I'm out. Peace.